Greetings, dear friend of destiny. Try to imagine the monks or Zen masters from ancient times. No matter how arduous their day of labor, when night falls, they always maintain a strangely serene aura. Their secret lies not in how long they sleep, but in how they cross the fragile threshold between being awake and asleep. Modern science has begun to confirm what practitioners have understood for ages. The brief moment just before you drift into sleep is the golden window to activate the self-repair and regeneration mechanisms of every cell. Yet, unfortunately, most of us unintentionally slam that door shut with the noise of phones and wandering thoughts. Dear friend, look back at your restless nights. Is it true that sometimes your body has lain down, but your nervous system is still standing guard? It remains in a combat-ready stance against worries, like a soldier who hasn't received the ceasefire order. In those moments, you aren't sleeping to regenerate. You are merely sleeping to survive the day. Tonight, I want to pass on to you the secret of the 3-minute ritual of the Transcendent Masters. A wise art of ending the day to return primordial peace to your body and mind, awakening your own greatest power of self-healing. The 3-minute ritual, the command of safety. Dear friend, when mentioning meditation or healing, we often fear complex techniques or strict requirements for concentration. But tonight, I invite you onto a different path, the path of absolute simplicity that Zen masters silently practice in their secluded huts. This 3-minute ritual does not require you to try to think positively, nor does it force you to visualize radiant halos or elaborate imagery. For when the body is tired, forcing the mind to perform any additional task, even thinking good thoughts, unintentionally creates a new layer of pressure for the brain. The secret of the monks lies not in adding, but in letting go. These 3 minutes are a precise biological command sent directly to your nervous system. It is like gently holding the hand of a frightened child and whispering, "Everything is okay now. The danger has passed. Now, you are allowed to rest." In ancient spiritual traditions, the Transcendent Masters understood that sleep is not an act of will, but a natural fall, when the mind no longer resists. Instead of using the mind to control the body, they use physical signals to soothe the mind. When the nervous system truly believes the environment is completely safe, it will automatically withdraw from its guard duty to open the door for the deepest recovery at the cellular level. Let go of all cravings for results or perfection. Just 3 minutes, not to change the world out there, but to return primordial peace to your own inner home. Let us begin the first minute, right here on this warm bed. The first minute, the symphony of the exhalation. Let the silence of the room envelop you like a soft cocoon. Right now, as your back is supported by the soft mattress, I invite you to perform the most intimate gesture with your own body. Gently place one hand on your lower abdomen. In this first minute, the most important thing I want you to remember is, do not try to perform any breathing technique. Stop being a commander who always wants to control everything. Instead, become a silent and tolerant observer. Feel the natural rising and falling rhythm of life happening right under your palm. Your breath right now might be shallow or deep, fast or slow, hurried or weary. All of it is fine. Do not judge, and do not rush to correct it. Just let the breath be as free as it naturally is. And then, in a very gentle and smooth way, as you begin to exhale, actively prolong that breath a little more. Imagine you are breathing a sigh of relief after shedding a 1,000-pound burden following a long journey. Simply extend the exhalation longer than the inhalation, as naturally as possible. Dear friend, this act of prolonging the exhalation is a secret code to communicate directly with your nervous system. Science calls this activating the vagus nerve, the largest peace-conducting cable in the body. When you slow down and extend the breath out, you are sending the most powerful and clear biological signal to the brain. The danger is over. We are absolutely safe. This is the ceasefire order for a nervous system that has been stressed for so long. Listen to the miraculous feedback of the body at this very moment. You will feel your shoulders, once stiff with responsibilities, suddenly sag and softly drop onto the mattress. Your jaw relaxes, no longer clenched, and the abdomen under your hand begins to become soft, rising and falling rhythmically, like waves hitting a peaceful shore. You are removing the last layer of defensive armor to prepare for the land of rebirth. The second minute. The art of pure listening. As the body begins to feel the soothing effect of the smooth exhalations, I invite you into the second minute, the minute of non-interfering presence. Now, allow your mind to wander leisurely throughout your entire body, like the gentle moonlight illuminating a quiet lake. Begin observing from the crown of your head, spreading down to your eyes, your shoulders, along the spine, and down to your toes. The most important thing in this moment is just observe, do not analyze. If you feel an area is stiff, do not try to use your will to make it relax. If you feel a slight pain, do not rush to label it as illness or fear it. In Zen wisdom, our attempt to analyze or fix the body is actually a form of creating more pressure. When you label a sensation, your brain immediately switches to problem-solving mode, and thus, true rest is interrupted. Dear friend, this is the moment for your brain to learn to stop over-controlling. Throughout a long day, the brain has played the role of a stressed commander, managing all activities and protecting you from every risk. Tonight, right now, grant it a permit to temporarily retire. Silently tell the brain, everything is finished. Now, let the body operate according to its innate wisdom. When the supervisor in your head agrees to leave their post, a miracle happens. The body's autonomous system, the most sophisticated physician, will begin to repair subtle fractures without any command from the conscious mind. You don't need to do anything to heal. You only need to be there to let healing happen. Feel your entire body as a unified whole, a living entity rhythmically merging into the stillness of the night. You are learning to trust again in your own biological rhythm, where all disturbances will find their way back to inherent harmony. The third minute, the peak of non-action. And now, we touch the final threshold, the peak of simplicity. The third minute, the minute of absolute non-action. Wu Wei. You have breathed to soothe the body. You have observed to calm the mind. And now, I invite you to perform the boldest act of consciousness. Stop all effort. Do not try to sleep, do not try to relax, and most importantly, stop waiting for something to happen. Our biggest mistake is often lying there and silently watching to see if sleep has arrived. But in the wisdom of Zen masters, sleep is like a shy butterfly. The more you try to catch it, the further it flies. Only when you completely forget its existence, when you no longer care whether you are awake or asleep, will that butterfly silently land on your eyelashes. In this final minute, let yourself be like a leaf falling into a river, just drifting leisurely without needing to know where the current leads. Do not expect a miraculous sensation. Do not wait for any healing signal to manifest. Completely melt into the vast darkness. No form, no direction, no craving. Sleep is not a destination you must strive to reach, but a natural warm embrace that will hold you when you dare to let go of even the notion that you exist. Let the holy silence of this third minute do the rest of the work. Common mistake: the trap of supervision. Dear friend, there is an incredibly subtle paradox we often unintentionally fall into immediately after finishing relaxation rituals. It is the trap of expectation. We enter sleep with a hidden contract in our mind that because I breathed correctly, because I observed the body, I must receive the result of peace or a healing sign immediately. However, this very craving is the greatest barrier preventing you from touching true rebirth. Look back at your mindset while lying in bed. Are you stealthily opening a third eye in your mind to watch over yourself? You ask, do I feel relieved yet? Has the pain eased at all? Or why am I still so awake? I want you to listen carefully to this ultimate truth, a truth that can completely change how you dialogue with yourself. Your body will never perform its regeneration work under supervision. Imagine your body is like a shy child. That child will never naturally play or fall asleep if it feels the stern eyes of an adult constantly watching and judging its every move. When you supervise your body to seek results, you are unintentionally sending an alarm signal to the nervous system. Everything is still not okay. Stay alert. You are turning your bed into a stressful laboratory where you play both the role of the anxious patient and the doctor eagerly waiting for a miracle. Transcendent monks understand that healing is not something that can be hunted or forced. They prepare a favorable climate through letting go, then leave nature to operate according to its own rhythm. Do not try to measure healing tonight. Remember, the deepest recovery only happens when your controlling ego completely withdraws. When you stop being the supervisor, that is when your body is truly free to begin its sacred work of mending. Letting go in thought. The art of opening spiritual palms. Dear friend, after learning to let the body rest without being supervised, we enter a deeper layer of stillness, letting go of the attachment to streams of thought. Have you ever noticed that when night falls and the outside space becomes quiet, the theater of the mind suddenly becomes more bustling than ever? Films of the past, anxieties about health, or worries about children and grandchildren rush back, weaving into a net that entangles your peace. In the wisdom of meditation, our biggest mistake is not the act of having thoughts, but our attempt to fight, to chase them away. Remember, your mind is designed to create thoughts, just as eyes are designed to see and ears to hear. When you use your will to force yourself to be empty, you are unintentionally creating a civil war right on your bed. The more you push, the more they come. The more you force, the more persistent they become. I want to invite you to practice a completely new attitude. View thoughts as clouds passing across the sky of your essence. The sky never tries to hold the clouds, nor does it seek to push them away. It is simply open and lets the clouds float freely. When a notion of regret or anxiety appears, do not cling to it to analyze, and do not be angry with yourself for thinking. Just gently acknowledge, an anxious guest is visiting again. Then let that guest leisurely leave following your exhalation. Healing in thought requires absolute compassion and gentleness toward oneself. Treat your mind the same way you would cherish a white lily or soothe a crying infant. Do not be violent. Do not be coercive. If your mind happens to wander 1,000 times, patiently invite it back to the breath exactly 1,001 times, with all the tolerance you possess. This is not a one-and-done technique, but a persistent nightly nurturing. Turn this act of opening spiritual palms into a pure habit. Every night, when you can let go of one string of attachment to thought, you are untying a knot for the nervous system. Thus, bit by bit, Stillness will no longer be a distant goal, but will become a natural atmosphere enveloping you, leading you into sleep with the mindset of someone who is completely reconciled with themselves. The sacred renunciation, the command to shut down consciousness. Dear friend, there is an invisible but decisive detail that most of us overlook, even when we have practiced the correct breathing or body observation. I call it the ritual of temporary renunciation. Imagine once more the image of a Zen monk leisurely walking toward his hut as sunset falls. No matter how many responsibilities he carried for the temple during the day, no matter how many worries of devotees he faced, the moment his hand touches the door of his room, he stops. He gently brushes the dust off his robe, leaving his shoes and the entire world outside the threshold. In that silent room, he is no longer a teacher, no longer burdened by the Dharma or sentient beings. He is simply a life preparing to enter its primordial state of rest. The secret of peak energy recovery lies not in technique, but in this decisive ability to shut down. Tonight, I invite you to perform the most powerful spiritual act before sleep. Once you are lying settled, before letting yourself drift into dreams, whisper to yourself a mantra full of liberating power. In the next few hours, I have no problems to solve. Let this sentence soak into every cell. Feel its weight lifting, every stone pressing down on your shoulders. Please understand, this is not escaping responsibility or a lazy promise to deal with it tomorrow. This is a command of wisdom, a confirmation that the session of the conscious mind has truly ended. Our brain operates very much like a modern computer. If you do not actively press the shutdown button for anxiety programs, they will continue to run in the background of your subconscious all night long. It is these background programs that silently consume reserve energy, making you wake up with a heavy body despite having enough sleep. The declaration, "I have nothing to solve," is the absolute shutdown command. At this moment, you declare to the mind that you are no longer a grandmother or a mother worrying for children. You are no longer a diligent employee or someone facing financial troubles. In the sacred space of sleep, you shed all identities, all roles that the world has placed on your shoulders. You are not a patient trying to cure an illness, nor an old person fearing time. You are simply a pure life resting in the arms of stillness. When you dare to perform this sacred renunciation, even if only temporarily tonight, you are giving your body a passport to enter the land of the deepest healing. Only when the mind is no longer busy with fixing life does it have enough space to fix itself. Relax your hands, relax the wrinkles on your forehead, and truly allow yourself to be anonymous for the next few hours. Let the world's matters wait outside the threshold. Tonight, you belong only to peace. Surrendering to sleep, the art of disappearing into the void. Try to imagine yourself standing before a vast lake on a moonless night. You cannot know exactly where the land ends and where the water begins. The transition between being awake and asleep is the same. It is inherently a natural flow with no clear starting line. However, our final and greatest challenge right now is the craving to control that moment. Have you ever noticed yourself lying there, eyes closed, body relaxed, but the mind still silently opening a third eye to observe yourself? You ask, "Am I asleep yet? Why can I still hear the clock ticking? When will sleepiness actually hit?" This very supervision, once again, is the chain keeping you at the shore of wakefulness. In the deep wisdom of the monks, there is a truth we need to etch into our hearts. Deep sleep isn't a state observed. Dear friend, the essence of sleep is the complete absence of the I. You cannot be both awake to know you are sleeping and truly submerged in deep sleep at the same time. These two states can never coexist. To truly sleep, you must accept something that our ego fears greatly: disappearance. Look at how a child sinks into dreams. They have no plan, no monitoring. They simply fall away. In English, we use the phrase fall asleep. To fall, you must let go of all points of attachment, including the notion of, I am trying to sleep. Tonight, I invite you to take the boldest step of consciousness, completely surrender power to the body and to the darkness. Do not try to watch the moment you drift off. Do not try to remember the breath or the feeling of relaxation anymore. Let your awareness melt like a drop of water merging into the ocean of the void. If your mind still has ripples and wants to observe, gently tell it, there is nothing more for you to do now. You are allowed to vanish. I trust in the wisdom of the body. When you accept that you don't need to know when sleep comes, that is when you have flung open the final door. Let yourself be enveloped by the undefined, no form, no direction. Do not fear unconsciousness, for in that temporary disappearance, your spirit is truly free to re-establish the entire source of life. Let this gentle darkness swallow every last defense. Stop being the observer. Be the sleep itself. Let the breath go by itself, the heart beat by itself, and your soul leisurely find its way back to its source amidst this vast space. You are safe. You are melting. And you are truly returning. Non-judgment, releasing all final pressure. When the first rays of tomorrow's sun gently peek through the curtains to wake you, I invite you to practice a completely new attitude, non-judgment toward last night's results. Most of us have the habit of opening our eyes and immediately using logic to analyze. How many hours did I sleep last night? Did this 3-minute ritual actually work? Why do I still feel a bit tired this morning? Dear friend, this very evaluation is the fuel that reignites the tension you strive to let go of all night long. When you analyze, you unintentionally put yourself back in the laboratory where every sleep becomes a test of health. Understand this profound truth: healing isn't a punctual act, it's a climate. Your task is not to force the body to be healthy immediately, but to persistently create a favorable environment for recovery. Imagine a garden. You cannot make a flower bud bloom at the exact hour you want. You can only water it, fertilize it, and wait for a suitable climate. The healing within you operates exactly the same way. Your body is an incredibly intelligent biological entity. Every night, depending on the most urgent need, it prioritizes repairing different layers. Some nights it focuses on regenerating muscle mass, while other nights it pours all its strength into detoxifying the liver or processing emotional traumas hidden deep in the subconscious. Sometimes, waking up with a bit of fatigue or lethargy does not mean you have failed. It could be a sign that the body has just undergone the most powerful general cleaning it hasn't had the chance to perform for a long time. Therefore, do not rush to label your sleep as a success or failure. Learn to trust absolutely in the rhythm of nature. Even if you were still restless last night, the 3 minutes you spent on stillness were already an invaluable gift sent to the nervous system. Persistently water your soul with peace every night, and let time do the rest of the miraculous work. Healing is a silent journey, without fanfare, like the way snow melts or a green sprout buds. Let yourself be at peace within that process, without any judgment. Kindred friend, as the candle of today has gradually burned down and darkness has completely enveloped the space, I invite you to keep this pure stillness for yourself. Understand that the 3-minute ritual we just went through is not about adding a new task to your busy life. On the contrary, It is when you are learning to subtract the habit of holding on to tension. True sleep is inherently not a destination to strive for, but a return. A place where you temporarily shed all roles and burdens of identity to be the purest life in the arms of the Creator. Right now, before completely melting into dreams, I invite you to perform a final act of commitment to yourself. Write down the mantra in the comments. I allow my body to heal itself. That affirmation is not just a line of text, but a final safety command that helps you close all mental sessions and open the infinite treasure of recovery within your cells. May you have a very peaceful long night, a dreamless sleep, and a brilliant rebirth and joy tomorrow morning. Thank you for trusting and accompanying me on the path of mindfulness. Goodbye, and sleep very well.